Kamala Harris is, of course, a 2020 presidential candidate. She is a horrifyingly bad candidate. She has done a flurry of horrible things in her career, which includes threatening parents with prosecution and citing that she can put a parent in jail for an entire year, citing state law that includes attempting to keep one man in jail, or in prison, who was deemed innocent by a federal judge due to his attorney's incompetence, and decided to attempt to keep him in prison due to a technicality. I believe the technicality was, the attorney has missed the deadline for filing a writ of habeas corpus. So she failed on that one. On the other one, she actually succeeded. And this man is now serving a 70-year sentence despite being found essentially innocent. And she refused to budge despite being told that he should be deemed innocent. And this was also based on a technicality. On top of that, there's video footage of her laughing at her Republican opponent who supported the legalization of recreational use of pot, which we're going to show you in a second here. And she has done a really flurry of bad things. She cracked down on this website called Backpage, which is where sex workers were able to go to essentially enlist themselves for work. And she took that down. She went after them for that. And so the result of that is you now have to go underground, which means going on the streets, which puts them in more danger. So she's done a flurry of really horrible things in her career. She has also literally argued in court, directly in court. This is her attorney specifically saying that they were resisting a California Supreme Court decision saying you need to vacate nonviolent offenders who are in prison because they're getting overfilled and you're just filling them up. And she said, the state will lose a significant amount of prison labor. That's her attorney's argument in the court of law, which is insane. Dude, you're talking about, slavery 2.0. You're talking about the new Jim Crow. I mean, anyways, she went on The Breakfast Club for an interview with Charlemagne and those guys. And she's going to be asked a couple questions here. First of all, I want to say that props to the Breakfast Club fan base that's got 4K likes, 5K dislikes, and essentially the entire comment section is just destroying her for the truth. And I'm glad to see that these people see the truth about Kamala Harris and see the truth about who she really is, despite her shape-shifting into this amazing progressive. And also, we're going to get to something that's kind of borderline sociopathic here, but she's going to be asked about both truancy and about pot.
We have certain myths, and we think that, if that child doesn't go to school every day in elementary school, they'll catch up, they'll be fine. They'll, when they get to middle school and high school, they'll go to school every day, without realizing that those first years of education are critically important to everything that comes thereafter. So I created this initiative with the intention of putting a spotlight on it, and frankly, willing to be the bad guy to put a spotlight on it, but with the intention, which was the goal, which was achieved, of then highlighting and uplifting the resources that were available for those parents to get those children to school every day.
So you didn't lock up parents when their kids didn't go to school. I'm just trying to clear up all the BS.
Yeah, no.
Also, and I know the answer to this too, they say you oppose legalizing weed.
That's not true.
I know.
and look, I joke about it, half joking. Half my family's from Jamaica. Are you kidding me?
They be so mad at you.
Right. Yeah. No, I do not. No. I have had concerns. The full record. I have had concerns, which I think first of all, let me just make the statement very clear. I believe we need to legalize marijuana. Now, that being said, this is not a but, it is an and we need to research, which is one of the reasons we need to legalize it. We need to move it on the schedule so that we can research the impact of weed on a developing brain. Mm-hmm. That part of the brain that develops judgment actually begins its growth at age 18 through age 24.
The frontal cortex, I think.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's right. So we've got to take that seriously. And so I believe that we need to research that because I believe we don't fully know the consequences. The other issue that we've got to address is how we're going to measure impairment when somebody has been smoking weed in terms of driving.
So before I forget, I do also want to say that she admitted in this podcast or in this radio interview that she has smoked pot, and she said she did inhale, which I don't even know if I can believe or not. I mean, it's very believable. I think she said she did it a long time ago, but it's just such a weird situation. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's awkward and it's hard to believe when you're talking about doing this kind of Hillary Clinton move where you go on the Breakfast Club and you're trying to seem hip and cool to all the youngsters on there and everything. That's what it seems like to me. But anyway, so on the truancy thing, when Charlemagne asked her about that, she had threatened, and she actually, as DA of San Francisco, I believe this was, there's video footage of her literally, laughing gleefully about threatening the mother of a child who is truant with enforcing state law and prosecuting her. I believe the state law she cited said that you could put him in jail for an entire year. So you're talking about threatening them, threatening parents with this. It was pretty insane. And a lot of the stuff that you see, we covered a video that was recently uncovered of her where she is literally, she's memeing the, saying of, less prisons, more schools, because of course the school to prison pipeline is something that we need to combat, and just filling up our prisons insanely and have an abundance of prisoners is obviously not helping the lives of people. And so we do want more schools. We do want to better the people's lives. And she's making fun of it, dude. She's memeing it. That's what she's doing. And here's something else weird that I noticed, by the way. I noticed that anytime she's asked about her really bad record when it comes to being a prosecutor, she always pivots to this one statement, this one talking point that she has, where she goes, well, as a prosecutor, if someone is raped or someone does, abuses a child, well, yeah, I'm never gonna, regret, or I'm never gonna, regret coming down on them and prosecuting them. It's like, yes, we understand that, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the flurry of things that I just mentioned earlier, which I could repeat, but I really don't want to because it's going to get, redundant. You're just talking about different things. So why are you pivoting to that talking point? I don't understand that. And there's this quality of hers which is borderline sociopathic to me, because she is somebody who has spent her entire career perpetuating the system that she now claims is broken. So she, in this interview, says, the criminal justice system is broken and it needs reform. And you spent your entire, professional career perpetuating that system. So it's very, sociopathic to me. And the even further sociopathic thing is where she's not even taking the position of, hey, I hear you guys. My record as a prosecutor was horrifying. It was not progressive. It was very bad. It was not progressive, but I have since changed my ways, and I'm going to, represent the people of California and now the people of the United States. I'm going to, govern the nation as somebody who is a progressive, who will continue the progressivism of the record. So she is such a sociopath that she is not even denouncing her own record. She's not even apologizing. She's not even saying, oh, sorry for my non-progressive, sorry for my unprogressive record that I have. She's not even doing that, guys. She is just outright running with it. She's claiming it was progressive. She's saying it is progressive, and she's keeping going with it. I saw her tweet out about the prison, I believe it was, that didn't have, proper heating. I believe it was in Chicago. I can't remember. But they were I think they were banging on the windows or turning on and off their lights to protest. And she tweeted about that, saying that, we need to care about this. And I'm like, holy smokes, dude. I mean, how is it possible to how do you transform from one person to another without any remorse or explanation as to the change? I don't even understand that. I mean, at least when Dave Rubin did his shit, he at least gave a fake story. This isn't even a fake story. This is just, I'm still a progressive, when it's like, dude, your entire record was unprogressive. It's really astonishing to me, man. It's scary, in fact. And she's such a narcissist that it really is irrelevant to her the means that it takes to become president, because to a narcissist like Kamala Harris, all that matters is that you clinch that presidency. So it doesn't matter if you go and just flip 180 degrees on everything that you said your entire life. That's irrelevant to you. Fuck that. I just want to be president, So she's pretty crazy. And when it comes to the whole pot thing, there's literal video footage of her straight up laughing at her Republican opponent in 2014. She was running for Attorney General of California. This is 2014, not that long ago, okay? 5 years, 2014. This ain't 2007. This isn't 1999. She's literally laughing at her Republican opponent who wants to legalize pot recreationally. You know it's bad when, A, you're on the wrong side of history. And again, it was 2014, not that long ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, California legalized it just 2 years later in a ballot initiative. So it's not like, whoa, it's like 2010 or 2005. No, it's just 2014. And she laughs, dude. You're just laughing at the prospect of, not prosecuting a law that ends up affecting disproportionately African Americans and poor ones. But anyways, I'm just glad to see that the Breakfast Club audience on YouTube sees her for what she is, which is a total fake and a fraud. Somebody who is, I don't know who, it's hard for me to determine who's worse, her or Hillary Clinton, because, Kamala was an actual prosecutor. So you're talking about the person who, and I don't even know how I could even come to vote for somebody who, I know there's someone in prison right now who is innocent, but was kept in prison based on a technicality that was argued by Kamala Harris. I don't know if I can do that, because that would require me to essentially, give up all of my morals possible, because she was the one who did that prosecution. But props to the Breakfast Club audience. They really know what they really know about Kamala Harris, and they call her out for being a faker.